It's time for our third bout of the evening. We go back to the 165-pound novice division. Adam Paolino taking on Robert Espesso. Adam Paolino comes to us from Sempali's Boxing. Robert Espesso is unaffiliated with any gym. Peter Zimbor here with Mike Colbert. Mike, thank you for joining us here in Gloucester, Massachusetts tonight.
No problem, Peter. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to come out, watch the fights, and help you out doing the commentary. I think we're looking at a good fight here. Both guys are short and muscular. So we'll see how this one shapes up.
3 2-minute rounds in the 165-pound novice amateur weight class. Adam Paolino taking on Robert Espesso. Paolino is wearing the red trunks. Espesso is wearing the black trunks. One thing I noticed right off the bat about their gloves is that we see Adam Paolino with no tape around his gloves. He has that Velcro substance that they use a lot in amateur boxing now. And you see Robert Espesso, on the other hand, he's got tape wrapped around his gloves.
I believe they took the tape off the gloves. Looking now at it, and I think the tape was taken off of the gloves.
And that was something we noticed as they walked into the ring, and there was, I guess, miscommunication as to whether that was allowed or not in the dressing room between the Massachusetts Boxing Commission and USA boxing officials.
It was odd to put tape on gloves that have the thing to protect them so you don't need the tape. Tape, of course, gets loose and it comes off once the sweat gets on the tape. And again, it defeated the purpose to put the tape on there. So these guys aren't all on the same page together. But we're looking at a pretty good, interesting fight here. Paolino being a southpaw, trying to be the aggressor. Nice double jab and right hook by him. Reminds me a little of Hector Camacho. Paolino does. See a little bit of Hector Camacho stance.
You know, I'll say for novice fighters, you can tell that they are well schooled from the early goings.
Yes, it does appear that way. Both these guys, I don't know how many fights they've had exactly, but both fighters look like they've been in the ring. Probably done plenty of sparring. And I would say two guys are on their way up.
This is the 165-pound weight class. You had a fighter, Chester Miller, win a 165-pound fight earlier against Francis Davarou. Scouting the potential opponents for future reference?
Actually, I'm not, because Chester Miller is a 152-pounder. The only reason why he was fighting as heavy is the original opponent I had for Frank had pulled out, and Dave Gomes, Frank's trainer, asked me to just want to match chest with him instead of Chet. Oh, nice straight left. Paolino with a beautiful straight left. Chester had fought 2 weeks ago and weighed 161 pounds. He took that fight in the last minute. So instead of having him lose the weight to get to 52, I just had him fight at 65. But he won't be fighting either one of these two.
Good opening round between Adam Paolino and Robert Espesso. From what I could see, round one, it seemed that Paolino was doing the better work, Mike.
Paolino was landing the better, crisper punches. He landed a nice straight left that almost caused a standing 8 count. I thought the referee was going to give him a standing 8 count. Standing 8 count in amateur boxing is only one punch, so it doesn't defeat the other opponent. It doesn't help. It's not like a knockdown in a pro fight, but it rings your bell and it makes you not want to punch him.
And I talked about the amateur scoring system a little bit earlier. Essentially, a good crisp jab is just as effective as a powerful punch that puts your opponent on the canvas in the amateur boxing scoring system, because you're just scoring blows, basically.
Well, it was always supposed to be that way, even back in the Sugar Ray Leonard days in the '76 Olympics. But when you're watching two guys box, and it's not done in the point system it's done now, when 3 people are officiating or 5 people are officiating it, just human nature would tend to have you score for the guy, have you score the person who landed the harder blows. Paolino just rocked his opponent with a right hook and gave him, he did just as we said, is giving him a standing 8 count.
Finish him off, Adam.
I think he might have slipped another punch in there before the ref could have got in there to make the standing 8 count happen, but we're back to action. Paolino, good first round, and starting off the second round, good as well. Paolino with his opponent right up against the ropes and ripping those punches to the body as the ref breaks them up, and he's going to take a look at Robert Espesso. Paolino with a left to the body followed by a left upstairs. You like what you see out of this kid, Paolino?
Very impressed, very impressed. Good balance, very good balance.
Looking good.
You can tell he's been in the gym for a while. He got hit with a straight right hand there, but it didn't seem to distract him. Nice. This fight, another standing 8 count. I don't think this fight's going to last much longer.
Yeah, this is a right hand this time from Paolino.
Looking good, kid.
And these standing 8 counts are just meant to give the fighter an opportunity to regain their bearings, if you will, but we'll see if Espeso will be able to do that. Paolino is having a lot of success in this fight so far. And now with Espeso up against the ropes, he starts firing those punches to the body again.
As you can see, as this fight's wearing on, you can see the talent of Paolino coming out. In the beginning, they were both trading, and both fighters were landing. Now it's all Paolino. Landing nice, sharp comedy. He does what amateur boxers, what they like at the national level. He throws nice, crisp punches, and it makes it easier for the officials to score these punches. Sometimes he rips the body nice, too, which you don't see a lot for young amateur fighters. I was proud of my fighter, Chester Miller, for his body work tonight, but he didn't quite do what Paolino's doing. As Paolino lands a nice right hook at the bell. End of round 2.
Now, I made reference to that earlier in the broadcast. Chester Miller landed some nice left hands to the body. Paolino landing a lot of combinations to the body. And the corner of Robert Espeso is going to call the fight. So we have our first stoppage win tonight as Robert Espeso's corner stops the fight at the conclusion of round 2. Adam Paolino will earn a TKO victory.
Oh, very impressive. Impressive performance by Paolino. As I mentioned before, you can tell he's been in the gym and he's been probably sparring regularly, and that's the way you get better at this sport, by sparring. And I was impressed with the kid.
And technically in the amateur ranks it is known as a referee stoppage, but Paolino getting the win nevertheless over Robert Espeso. I think it was a good call on the corner of Robert Espeso as well. He clearly was in a little over his head. Paolino was getting the better of him, and you're only in the amateur ranks. What's the point in sending him in for a few more minutes where he's certainly not going to win the fight, and there's an opportunity for him to get hurt?
That's the truth. In the Olympics, they have when a fighter gets ahead, I think by 21 points, they stop the fight, and I believe that would have been the case in this fight. Because Paolino was starting to land everything he was throwing, and his opponent wasn't landing anything at that stage.
Well, let's get the official verdict from our ring announcer, Mr. John Vina.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Steve Clark stops his contest after 2 completed rounds. Your winner, Adam Paolino!
So Adam Paolino becomes the 3rd fighter in 3 fights tonight from the red corner to earn himself a victory as he defeats Robert Espeso with a referee stoppage. You're watching AnySportsTV.com. Peter Zimbor and Mike Colbert have one more amateur bout coming up before we enter the professional ranks.